Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NLC. We're getting ready to go into our fourth game of the day as Orcs goes for a little dance. It's Galaxy Racer versus Nordavind. Both of these teams 2-1 over in Group B. It is the hype one. This is the one that you were talking about, Orcs, so break it down.
Yes, so I mean, both teams close to the top of their group, obviously just slightly behind. But this one means so much because when you're looking in the spread of the groups, having head-to-head advantage over the teams who are similarly placed than you is very important. Both of them lost yesterday. So both of them needing to bounce back from that. And I think it's all going to start with the draft when you have two pretty evenly matched teams.
Yeah, you got two pretty hypey AD carries as well. You got Chrisberg and Monk, two players who've been around for a while, and you know, Monk is definitely one of those kind of more coin flip players. But when he pops off, he pops off.
Sorry, Jake, it's Monko.
Monko.
Firstly, yeah. Monko. Secondly, it's not coin flip; it's expressive gameplay. You can't. No, but certainly he does have his moments. Obviously, we've flown through the picks and bans. No Lee Sin ban, no Rumble ban. Rumble seems to be staying up a lot more this week. It feels like, in comparison, I feel like to last week, or maybe just the UKLC is what's more prominently on my mind. But yeah, Lee Sin first pick, likely in Kakan's hands, but obviously we can see it in all three roles on the top side. And Rumble being hovered, you expect it to be locked in. And with no Ezreal ban, this champion is a lot more prominent, and they're going to lock in the owner first. There's no real reason not to lock in the Rumble with it too.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really disgusting rotation actually there. Over to the side of Galaxy Racer, what do you think they're going to be looking to pick up here, Orcs?
Well, I mean, there's two things I want to say. One, you're kind of in a rough spot with regards to AD carries that are going to be able to survive against this combo. Thresh is gone, which obviously gives a safety net we've seen. Ezreal's gone. But there is Kog'Maw available, which we've typically seen banned against Monk. He isn't actually going to end up going for it. He's going to go for the Jinx. They do take the Karma, though, which, you know, with the movement speed and the shielding, if you're not locked down by CC, you can just move very quickly out the Equalizer, so it's not as punishing. But really, if Touch is playing this correctly, they should be locking Monk down on top of that Equalizer. They already have tools in place to deal with the Jinx. I expect them to just pick up an AD carry here, so things don't get more banned away, but they could go in a different direction. Yeah, Kai'Sa makes sense.
Yeah, it's Chrisberg. You've got a dive comp kind of set up when you run the stuff like Rumble Leon almost all the time. Why not take it, really? So I think now Nordavind kind of stuck on bans because, you know, Lee can kind of flex but I guess no, never mind. You kind of want to just probably remove away junglers, right? Lee doesn't end up there most of the time. So Udyr, yeah, you probably one of them. Oh wow, they're gonna actually remove away mids. So if they're banning mids here, that says to me they're probably gonna look for a mid pick on R4. In my opinion, it depends if they invest two mid bans. If they split, then it kind of just doesn't really show much. Syndra could indicate maybe a Lucian, in my opinion. I think, which is obviously still up. Tristana too could be the other options here for Nordavind on this R4 pick.
All right, well, final bans coming in. See what they decide to go for. As it's been a fairly quick paced pick and ban so far. They've been kind of locking in, but this last phase they are thinking it through. There goes the Nautilus. The final ban is going to be the set. Obviously, that Karma is still technically flexible, so could go into that mid or into the support role. I mean, even technically top if you really want to get big brain, but I doubt they'll probably do that. And now over to Nordavind, just going to blind pick themselves up the Jace. Another pick was technically flexible. We've seen it mid, we've seen it top. Galaxy Racer are going to be rounding out their comp here.
We're thinking. The brains are at work. If you're wondering what the silence is, I mean, at least for me, the Jace, I think right now there's not a lot of engage. That's something that can obviously engage inside of the Gragas. Certainly a very interesting pick with the Yasuo. Okay, wow. So this is old school. This is sort of like as long as Yasuo's been out kind of deal combination here, which I don't think I'm even necessarily too opposed to it. But it's going to definitely be a bit tricky to pilot. We haven't seen Tibber on a pick necessarily like Yasuo. I don't think he's piloted the Yone unless my memory is genuinely that bad. Kerberos hovering the Jace probably for the top lane. Into something like Lee, I don't necessarily mind it. I think though you've definitely got to watch your positioning. You start to stack up the HP, you become a really easy target to kick in some of your squishier members. But yeah, honestly, in lane it's going to do absolutely fine. And with the top side kind of being dive oriented, Cho'Gath deals pretty well into dive comps for the most part. So, you know, plays well nicely there and can obviously follow up any engages with the ruptures.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the whole conversation together, I kind of feel like Nordavind coming away pretty strong here. Yeah. A lot of strong meta picks. They have great engage, and the backline's solid, you know, with the Jace and the Kai'Sa. You look at the side of Galaxy Racer, I'm concerned about the survivability of this Jinx. I'm concerned about the fact that I feel to open the fight, like basically for Galaxy Race to win, they need to open the fight with Yasuo ult combo, kill a member, get a reset for Jinx, and then take that momentum with them. But I just don't see it happening as easily. It's like there's so much more execution to come down with those engages. Jakey honestly needs the game of his life if they're going to come out ahead in this one. And Tibor as well, and Yasuo. Very much skill check from them. Whereas I feel like if it just plays out, both teams playing at the same level, Nordavind's comp is so easy.
Yeah, nothing from me either. It's Nordavind all the way with this kind of draft into what Galaxy Race are running, Ima.
Yeah, well, it's time for us to pass it over to our casters to break down this game. So over to you guys.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, interesting draft coming out from Galaxy Race. I haven't seen a Gragas jungle in time, mate. Like, talk to me about these comps then. As the desk said, it felt a little skill check coming out from Galaxy Racer. Like their solar lanes can be a little coin flip given the situation. But you know, Gragas can be that extra facet of peel that is sometimes needed for the Jinx here. But what do you make of these comps that you've seen come out?
Yeah, you got Lee Sin and Gragas who can act as kind of like secondary pills, but it's still kind of tough. Like, I think Nordavind just have such good tools to jump in on top of Jinx, and it's going to be kind of hard to survive that. Also, as the Gragas as a jungler, I'm just really not a fan of, honestly. Like, he's just not that fast. Since Runic Echoes has been removed from the game, which is pretty much all of the season, yeah, it doesn't clear it never cleared very well before Runic Echoes, but then once you got it, it was like, wow, you just speed through the jungle and that's great. But now there are junglers in meta which just power through the jungle right from level 1, you know? I just don't think Gragas is like particularly good at clearing the jungle, and so then you've got to make up for it with like early pressure instead. And you know, Gragas's pressure is okay. Like I think a lot of it will depend on how he can have an early game, because like especially with this Predator, if he goes for a 3 camp, it's Predator boot clear, and then go for a gang and stuff like that. If he gets Tibble going, whatever, that could be nice. But bearing in mind as well, like he's at only AP damage, right? And Gragas jungle, not great, honestly. So I kind of agree. I think Nordavind, I agree with the desk, I should say. I think Nordavind is got a pretty good team comp here, and Galaxy Racer is going to have a hard one in this game.
And also, this is something that Nordavind runs before. Like when Kerberos can't run the Wukong Rumble combo, they run the Wukong Cho'Gath combo, and just they essentially they said it in the interview. We search for a Kerberos knock up, and then we just put the equalizer down. Like we just do it every single time. Now it looks like Jakey's going for a late blue invade here. Chrisberg is covering the entrance, but Galaxy Racer do look like that's what they're going to attempt to do.
We see this a lot against Rumbles, actually. We're seeing it a lot more and more as time's going on. People are getting a bit more used to playing versus Rumble. They know that he's not that good level 1. So if Rumble was here, then you can just push him off of the buff, because he starts with his W to get that overheat up, and really just means he doesn't have an ability at level 1, which is obviously pretty easy to take advantage of. But yeah, it means it's also, if he does go for this power farming through the jungle, which he most likely will, I don't think they've expected this at all, especially since Chrisberg and Touch. Yeah, they were covering the blue area, right?
But so, they didn't have awards. They didn't catch them in the vision, so they had no idea that Galaxy Racer did this. And then Monk and Vendelbo, they faked it out. They walked towards their try and then wrapped around the top of the terrain. So they kind of faked out that they were coming from the red buff, which means that at this point, Sharp has got no idea that his blue buff is gone.
And so if there is something that can help the fact that, you know, Rumble will be able to clear a little bit faster than Gragas, it's the fact that you can just like take away part of this jungle to begin with. So Sharp might generally just run to his bot side, expecting to be able to clear his blue and find nothing there.
Which he has done. Oh no, wait, no.
I think his spider senses might be tingling here. I'm not sure. No, he's not. He's not going to go for that one. I think it's there. Yeah, I think they kind of realized once they put that ward down on the chickens there, that wait, Gragas hasn't done his bot side. That might mean that actually he took my bot side instead. So gonna get a little bit of a response here from those chickens. Not a huge one though, but if you can take these look to play for the crabs as well, then that'll be big. Might go for a bot gank as well, actually, depending on the position.
They were warding, they sent Kakan over to look and scout through the blue buff just to check that a vertical jungle hadn't opened up here. Does look like Jakey's going to get his hands on this scuttle, so Sharp's not even going to get the bottom side scuttle. I mean, realistically, Jakey has vertical jungled, split the map in half, and Sharp has not. So Sharp really comes out on the losing end of this one, but will get the top scuttle, hopefully, at the end of this. Although it looks like Venderbo is actually rotating over. T-Ball has got complete control of the mid lane right now, and Venderbo and Jakey are going to double scuttle Sharp and then clear their own blue side jungle out as well. But this is a nice opportunity for Chrisberg to look for the engage onto Monk, as now Touch should be able to take him down. And first blood goes over to Chrisberg.
Oh, it was so good though from Galaxy Racer, really putting pain on Sharp. They took away his early jungle. They double crabbed him with triple lane prio, but Monk just oversteps a little bit there. Had to respect the engage coming through from the Leona, because that really does nullify a lot of that early advantage that Galaxy Racers were able to put out here. Going down, losing both summoners as well. A lot of stuff though, a lot of targets being put on the back of this bot lane now with triple flash being used, all of the defenses going down as well. If any of these junglers show their face to the bot side, you know, there's a few sitting ducks here. Might be a good one to go for.
I mean, Venderbo just oversteps straight away, forced a flash as well. 4 flashes down on the bottom side of the map here. Nice punish by Touch and Chrisberg, who are seemingly just getting the edge. T-Ball, yeah, we didn't see that. Don't worry, no one saw that.
Ericsson gives him the thumbs up and just gives him a few love taps and walks away. Now, I did mention, you know, with Jakey being a bit more gank focused on this Gragas, might be able to go to bot side to punish that. But just look at the CS difference here between Sharp and Jakey. That is painful stuff right there. Rumble is so far behind the Gragas right now. That's really impressive stat from Galaxy Racers. If I'm not mistaken, it was actually Nordavind who got invaded as well yesterday, maybe the day before, at level 1, and Sharp had to concede his jungle there as well. And basically he was just put behind right from the get-go and never really able to catch back up. Seems like that has a pretty good strategy against Nordavind. It's working in Galaxy Racer's favor right here as well. And you know, going forward in the NLC, Nordavind will definitely want to patch up those holes and give Sharp a little bit more to work with in these early games.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp's a little bit behind in experience, as you said. May be able to sort of just smooth it out, though, as we head towards level 6. I mean, his buffs are starting to respawn. Looks like Jakey's keen to make another invade happen here, though. That priority in mid is allowing T-Ball to move down. They've had priority in bot for quite some time. I mean, Sharp's so far behind on levels at this point. As you can see now, Jakey goes to the flash engage onto Chrisberg, but T-Ball was not there to follow up on the ultimate just yet. It's actually going to force a teleport out from Kerberos already, just to protect his bot lane from getting engaged on. But just a little disjointed from Galaxy Racer. If T-Ball was in range, that could have been a big engage that came through.
Knowing there are no sums on the bot side here, definitely making that target apparent, but getting the TP out from Kerberos, considering Kakan hasn't had to use it, that's a big win right there for Galaxy Racers. There's definitely something about a home guard sped up Cho'Gath with 0 stacks, just waddling his way around, which brings a big smile to my face. Unfortunately for the solo laners of Nordavind. Ericsson's going to catch top, so Kerb can catch mid, and not going to lose a huge amount as far as farm goes. So it could be a lot worse right there, but good pressure being shown here in that early game for Galaxy Racers.
Still feeling pretty even, though, like only 200 gold separating the two teams right now. Looks like Kerberos and Ericsson are, for the time being, switched up their laning assignments. Jakey is keen to go for another blue side invade, but they do have Kerb on this side of the map. I don't know if they're going to be in a good enough position to contest this, though, and Jakey might actually be able to get a second buff of the game away from Sharp and really put Sharp behind in experience, like massively so as well.
Yeah, Sharp is definitely struggling right here on this Rumble. Still not level 6. I would like to see Galaxy Racers try and convert it into a dragon, though. I think it's very important when you have such a lead on your junglers that you do look to turn that into an objective, especially against Rumble. Once he hits level 6, really, really solid contributor to these dragon fights. So here we go. Galaxy Racers are going to be able to take this one down. It's the first dragon of the game. Ocean going into a mountain. Might be looking for that Infernal Soul, which is really huge in the current meta when everyone is building so much damage. And the Infernal Soul just makes that even more painful. Of course, it could be a cloud still, but we'll see.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about scaling of these two teams, because it is something that probably does get called into question when you have the likes of a Jinx and a Kai'Sa. Who do you favor if this game goes the distance? Like if we're going to like another 40-minute game that we had earlier on today, who do you think comes out with the edge between these two teams?
I think when you're just isolating it between Kai'Sa and Jinx, it's quite a difficult question to answer. But I think then when you look at the context of the game and the team comps, you've really got to think about, okay, so how does Jinx get damage put out? How does Kai'Sa put her damage out? And really, like, Galaxy Racers don't have a great front line or a lot of ways to create space for Jinx. It might be a little bit hard for her to get that consistent damage through compared to Kai'Sa, who's got more tools for that. It looks like Nordavind's going to go for that engage. There's a disengage. Curb has Feast. Flash Feast? No? Ooh, who got
No.
that?
Looks like Jakey. I think Jakey picked it up.
Jakey got it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just defending against it. So you can see Curb and Sharp just playing keep out duty. I mean, Kakan could potentially jump over and grab it with a safeguard, but it probably would be a death sentence for him at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Well, so on the plus side here, Nordavind have just dedicated a lot of resources to this side of the map to try and make this happen. Yes, you do deny the Rift Herald, but bot side, Monk was just free farming that whole time. You know, and he crashed some waves under the tower, he got some waves for himself. And that's really nice because he was having a bit of a struggle down there a little bit. So he's been able to catch up a tad there. He's also going to go for the Krugs now as well. So yeah, Monk's the real winner out of that play.
I mean, experience-wide across the board, it feels like Galaxy Racer are edging out. I mean, Nordavind have nice flash from Kerberos. Nordavind have committed a lot in terms of rotations. So some missed waves in pretty much every lane, realistically, for Nordavind. And it does feel like, just experience-wise, Galaxy Racer have got the edge here. Especially for Monk, as you said, who's been given some solo experience in that bottom side of the map. I mean, clearly, Vendelbo has paid for it being a level down on touch, but even the solo laners in the jungle were slightly ahead of hitting those level 7 and 8 marks before Nordavind were able to do so.
And it looks like Nordavind might be the ones going for the invades now instead. Although there is a recall from Chrisberg, so shouldn't be too much going on here. Touch and Sharp just positioning around the mid side. Won't be too much going on, though. There is no flash from Tibor. And that can be a little bit scary against the Leona Rumble combo, opting to not go for that and instead just get a bit of control around this river area. Ooh, lying in wait. Sneaky, sneaky. Endelbow.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a big engager to, potentially flash
Monk.
the wall from Sharp here. Monk?
He's done, though.
Kill him! They haven't got vision of him.
Yeah, but they saw him walk through the tri-bush. Just jump on him, surely. Oh my
They
goodness.
have no idea where he is right now. I mean, I guess if he comes
But look,
back...
there's a ward right there.
If he goes back to the tri-brush, surely he dies.
Get him! Oh, good lord. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know,
All right.
the patience paid off. Like, you didn't have a Gragas sitting on your back. You didn't have Vendelbo there as well. The patience kind of paid off a little bit there for Nordavind.
Sure. I was just, got a bit antsy there. Oh, they're going to be trading back. There's Chrisberg. He's in the Shadow Realm. Tibor with the ult, comboing onto Gragas. I think he's donezo.
I think Touch may just be dead here. Tibor picks up the kill. 1-0-0 for him. Another kill for Jakey as well. In the meantime, though, give some time over to Ericsson to pick up as many plates as he can in this mid lane.
Not too bad.
Still, I would say,
price.
No, exactly, but I'd still say relatively worth for Galaxy Racer.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see... Okay, we're going to see Monk getting caught out here. Yeah, okay. So most of this, I think, just comes down to the position of Kai'Sa. I believe, upon reflection, I think this is what they were waiting for. Maybe they were waiting for Kai'Sa to get in so that she could jump in on the play as well. But either way, they get that punish down and just overstay a little bit too much there. And Touch getting caught out as well at the end. That's the Gragas Yasuo combo. You'll be seeing a lot of that in this game, especially in multi-target situations. Gragas can just throw it at like 2 or 3 people, followed up by the Yasuo, and oof, kind of scary stuff.
Chrisberg's got that Kraken Slayer online now. So some mythics being hit. It is a Frostfire Gauntlet for Kerberos on the top side of the map too. So some relatively decent item spikes coming out. Kakan has got that level advantage. I mean, Kakan has basically been sat in top lane the entire game. I have barely seen this chap rotate. Whereas Kerberos obviously has made a couple of roams down with that teleport too. Now, Jakey won't be able to get the dragon. So it'll be 1 dragon apiece. Seen a lot of that today. Just people not that bothered about the second dragon in the game, giving it either way depending on where the game feels like it's gone. But it'll be Infernal Soul, which is a relatively good win condition to work with.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Infernal is going to be big for both teams. So much damage, as always, in League of Legends right now. And the Infernal Soul just makes that even more oomph to your punches that you'd be throwing out in this game. Nordavind as well, in this specific game, like I think their scaling options pretty strong right here, pretty powerful when you've got the likes of like Ericsson, Chrisberg, and even Sharp. Like you don't have to get that close to deal out a decent amount of damage. And with that in mind, like you don't even have to dedicate to the pure engages, and especially if you've got like an Infernal Soul that you're working with, that's gonna be, the burn's gonna really hurt inside Nordavind.
I think one of the problems that Galaxy Racer do have, though, is obviously the only person really able to protect Monk, from getting locked up in these really insane combos that the Nordavind team have in a teamfight situation is that Karma. If the Karma is not exactly shielding for a huge amount, then Monk's going to be a relatively easy dive for someone like Chrisberg or even Kerberos to walk up to with the combination of the... that's the first turret of the game, though, for Galaxy Racer, but the combination of the Equalizer and that knockup from the Cho'Gath. However, I do think Nordavind somehow let this slip a little bit. They've given over first turret of the game. They've got a good rotation now coming through. They may end up losing this tier 1 in the mid lane, although you can see a collapse coming through. Kerberos looking for it. There is the Equalizer looking for the knockup. Gets it onto Kakana. Sharp now onto Venable 2. He drops eventually to the Rumble. T-Ball now the target, knocked up and eaten by Kerberos. It was a good collapse. They weren't going to let Galaxy Racer get that mid lane tier 1 for free.
It looked like Galaxy Racer had a good map movement right there, being able to secure first turret blood bot side, get control of the bot side jungle, and then move straight over into mid. Unfortunately, they just didn't account for the top side of the map there. Chrisberg coming through, Touch coming through. And my goodness, Rumble ulti is just something else. It's so hard to play against. Like seriously, if you get stuck on a Rumble ulti, it's like it's gonna tick on you no matter what. Even if you flash out of it, it's still ticking on you for a little bit. You're still slowed. And in these group top team fights, a champion like Rumble, this is why it's seen as one of the best junglers right now in the meta. Crazy strong ulti.
And you can see how used to Nordavind are comboing those two top jungle champions together as well. Easy for them to essentially just say, cool, Rumble ultimate to slow them down. It makes the Cho'Gath Q much easier to land. And once that equalizes down, you're going to get a knock-up on someone from Kerberos. And if that someone is a crucial target like T-Ball or Munko, all the better, realistically.
This is also the downside of Yasuo. Like, we don't see a lot of Yasuo anymore because he's mostly being replaced by his brother Yone. But Winwall was great for blocking skill shots. Unfortunately, Leona ulti isn't skill shot. Leona ulti comes straight from the heavens and bops you on top of the head. And that's what happened in that fight too. Like, people just ate that ulti, just sits there like a, just like a sitting duck. And not ideal for him. Don't want to get CC as a champion like Yasuo. And I think, honestly, you're seeing the strength in Nordavind lineup here. The Nordavind draft is just going to be a lot more of that. But I think Galaxy Racer are going to look for an engage right now. Good respect, Flash. There.
Yeah, absolutely. Did not want to give Jakey that opportunity to flash body slamming, because that would have been given T-Ball the angle to go for the ultimate, and that would have probably been a dead Chrisberg at that point. So, I mean, great reactions from Chrisberg as well. Either preemptively or just on the fly, able to get away from what could have been a risky engage.
Absolutely. And that probably would have been mid tower going down as well for Galaxy Racer. And obviously getting this mid is really important. It opens up the map, especially considering Galaxy Racer has already lost their own mid tower. It's like controlling these waves in mid and then being able to push forward and get like movements into the jungle and put vision down and whatnot and getting control of the river. It's a lot harder to do that when the enemy mid lane tower is still up. But that is going to be surviving for another day here. Nordavind avoiding losing that one, as Dragon is now 40 seconds away. We're nowhere near Soul right now, but still, it's a great win condition for these teams if they do want to start putting some priority on that drag. I think we're going to see that come down soon.
I think for Nordavind, they probably will do. Like, as we said, it's got an insane combination with Jace, but also with that Rumble ultimate as well. Can just be really painful to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Nordavind put a lot more stock into trying to build up those dragons to head towards that. So you can see now Touch, they will not find the engage. Not everybody was in position at this point. And also, Rumble ulting over the wall where not everyone can follow up can be a little risky. Now Touch, though, isolate. Touch, this is, you've got to be careful. I think you had to make that flash here. Touch just awkwardly pathing, isolated himself here. but still able to find the engage. There comes the equalizer. Zones away Galaxy Racer. Wasn't great though, but Kakan is the target. Nice ult on Kerberos, but I think he's not going to go down. He'll be able to walk away with his life, and it'll be focused onto the River Scuttler for the time being for Nordavind.
Okay, Lissin has his ulti up still. Is he going to go for any kind of sexy play? Might go for a ladder instead. Kerberos does have TP. Should be rejoining this fight right here. I don't think Nordavind want to give it up just yet.
No, as you said, have that TP available with full health Cho'Gath, or nearly full health Cho'Gath, able to get back into the fight. Ericsson just looking for as many shock blasts as he can get. Kerberos on that front line, ready to go. I don't know how far away from Equalizer again. It's halfway, so a little bit of time before that ultimate comes back online. But Kerberos should have the secure. It's going to go over to Sharp. The engage from Kakan, who's done absolutely nothing this game and proceeds to do absolutely nothing in this team fight. And that is now Ericsson charging forward. Sharp will just zone away the rest of Galaxy Racer, and Nordavind come away with the Drake and a kill.
Kind of some half-truths coming through there, Excalibur, mate, but you're not wrong. Jumps in, not able to make it happen. The problem is, though, honestly, when you're playing these into a comp like this, like,
what do you do? Like,
yeah, right. You got to look for a flank. You've got to look for like some kind of nutty kick play. But even when you do jump in, there's so much to just stop you from doing anything. You know, Cho'Gath screams at you, and you can't use any more abilities. Leona can lock you down as well. Like, there's just a lot going on that makes it kind of hard. But yeah, that's honestly what we were expecting to see. I don't think this was a particularly well-executed team fight from either teams around this Dragon, but because Nordavind just have that superior team comp for these kind of plays. And again, I've said this like a million times today, and I feel kind of bad for keep on saying it, but I'm going to say it again. Rumble is such a good jungler because he's so good at objective control. Like, these fights, just having an equalizer is huge. So the fact that you can draft a jungler that brings even more to the table than just that, you know, when you get to this point where you start contesting objectives, like, it's always going to put you in an advantage.
It's funny because when Rumble used to get seen in pro play, I mean, it was a while ago since we've seen Rumble in pro play, as Ericsson's getting dived here. Can he buy enough time? Nice knockaway onto T-Ball. Is actually buying enough time for the engage to come through from Nordavind as the equalizer is there, not quite placed correctly. And now Touch and Sharp are going to have to back off.
Ooh.
Touch isolated here, will eventually drop. I'm not sure there's much that Nordavind can do about it. And Galaxy Racer should be able to get another tower out of this.
Okay, decent stuff there. Decent stuff from Galaxy Racer. Trading 1 for 1. Oh, sorry, 1 for 2, excuse me. But as you say, getting that tower.
There's no way.
Catching Nordavind a little bit sleepy there, actually. Wasn't there. They didn't have the numbers. Couldn't back that one up. And, you know, this Jinx is still getting a little bit, you know, she's getting there. She's 2 items right now. I think she wants to get, well, yeah, 2 item Jinx is still already, like, relatively strong when you go for Kraken Slayer plus Storm Razor, which is what Monk has got this game. But as we get on, you know, like 3 kind of 4 items as well is really where it's going to start happening for her. But it won't be easy to navigate these fights at all against the team comp of Nordavind, especially considering there's not a lot of protection. Can get a little bit hypey there, just not going to be able to find the play onto Crispet.
One of the things that I wanted to touch on with Rumble, which is an interesting, you know, thought process, is that when we used to see Rumble in pro play, you know, we often almost always saw him top, sometimes mid. And one of the things that kind of made Rumble more of a difficult pick is he didn't exactly have the best laning phase in the world. Like, he was a bit clunky to play. You usually had to have a Rumble specialist to play him incredibly well, like to know all the nuances in either CSing and trading effectively through CS as well. And then he compensated for that by having ridiculous, like, mid-game objective control. Like, as he's always had this equalizer that's been nutty around, you know, these Dragon pits and Baron pits and team fights. But now, when you run him in the jungle, there's no laning phase to worry about. There's no, you know, 1v1 matchup to be concerned with. You just farm camps PvE and then walk into a jungle, you know, walk into a Dragon fight and just whack your ultimate down, and it's Bob's your uncle. You're good at.
Absolutely, like, definitely, like, the weaknesses of this champion are kind of hidden when you're playing jungle. But the benefits are still there. Another thing as well with Rumble is, like, he's always been a pretty good champion to play on a budget. His full build was always Sork Boots plus Liandry's. He doesn't need a lot really to make it work. Obviously, Liandry's isn't really feasible anymore because it's a mana item, and, you know, Rumble would completely waste all of that mana. But still, you know, again, it's a similar concept. He doesn't need a lot to make it happen. You don't need to have a huge bank, a fat wallet to be able to make this champion work. And junglers love that, because junglers don't tend to be the richest players in the game, and just being able to work off of 1 or 2 items, pretty favorable for that role.
Well, soul point's coming up, or rather, the dragon that will give you soul point is coming up for Nordavind. So they are setting up and getting some vision around the area. You can see Touch just going aggressively, or pushing aggressively forward with Kerberos backing him up in the mid lane. Now, mid lane Prio, obviously a really big part of getting good dragon control, and you can see now Nordavind stepping up to shove this wave in, give him a bit more space when claiming some vision control. Now, Jakey gets knocked up here. Will be forced to dive away. That's a little interest. I don't know about that one, Touch. I don't think anybody was really on the same page as you here. And now Galaxy Racer are looking for the re-engage. Touch has already burnt a pretty significant ultimate for this team fight, and Galaxy Racer just trying to edge their way forwards, looking for that combo with Jakey as he goes in, lands the ultimate, doesn't actually land onto anyone. He's just dead. Chris Berg picks him off immediately, and Kerberos in the front line. No one can touch him. Jinx can't get through, and that should be the 3rd dragon of the game right now. And that's Chris Berg. Oh, the flash! The flash from Chris Berg. That was pretty sexy, if you ask me. I think he dashed away from a knock-up on the Yasuo. He gets a kill at the back of it as well. Big plays from Chris Berg.
Wow, Chris Berg, that was really spicy. Holy moly, flashing away from the Yasuo Q. Team fight win here for Nordavind, and it's going to be putting them on soul point for that Infernal Soul. I think you're seeing a lot of the compositions just play themselves out at this point. Nordavind's comp is a lot easier to work with, a lot easier to execute. Whereas Galaxy Racer looking for that combo, looking for that engage with Gragas to then match up with the Yasuo, it just didn't really work. You know, you don't have a lot of people who can just walk into Nordavind either. So that's going to be the Dragon, the 1 team fight, and the Baron here for Nordavind. Comfortably in the lead right now.
Yeah, it was a big swing for them, and they obviously have that 4-minute timer until the Dragon Soul is there. So let's take a look back at that team fight here.
Yeah, there it is. It's the combo with Gragas that you're really going to make happen, and you can just see how easy it is to mess that up. And that's what after that's gone, it's like that's that. You know, it's just sorted. It's just done. You know, this team fight is over with. And Chris Berg jumping in flashes that cure. Oh, that is beautiful stuff right there. That is really beautiful. Really well played there by Chris Berg. He's great, man. Chris Berg and Kaiser is just like illegal. Like
It is. It is
Kaiser is
illegal.
so good in this game, and he's just so good as a champion. Why?
It's something that I don't think we actually touched on, but like it's something that was so big last season, and through like all the times that we've seen Chris Berg play. Chris Berg's Kaiser. Chris Berg's Kaiser. Chris Berg's Kaiser is his favorite champion. Didn't touch on it enough this game, but by the way, Chris Berg's Kaiser.
Yeah. By the way, this is huge, as it always is. Like, it's just crazy, man. And right now in the current meta as well, especially if you start throwing some bans towards like the Varus and the Airs and stuff, it's really easy to justify picking Kaiser. There's a lot of engage coming through as well, a lot of favorable lane matchups you can get with her. So yeah, I think this is definitely something that teams are going to be aware of, playing versus Nordavind, not giving Chris Berg his Kaiser. And you're seeing a lot of the reason why in this game. 3 items, 5 1-on-1, huge gold bounty as well, and a lot to keep him safe with his teammates here on Nordavind.
You can see Galaxy Racer desperately just trying to hold on to their base as these Baron waves crash in. Kakan trying to clear away the Baron minion wave from Kerberos, but can't really do so. Touch has to aggressively push forward just to try and give him some space on that inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Monk, again, just trying to clear waves the same way that we saw Kakan doing. And Kerberos will back off here. Has to be careful because he is by himself. I mean, he's actually just 1v1ing T-Bot at this point in time. The Blast Cone was a little in there, Touch, I'm not going to lie. But Sharp does eventually find his way into the team fight. The game over emote from Kerberos. And they'll eventually push through this top lane. Jakey by himself, unable to defend. And with the Baron, Nordavind should be able to win the game.
It looked pretty easy for Nordavind in this one. A really solid draft coming through from the get-go. Galaxy Racer didn't have a great game yesterday, and their struggles continue here, dropping 2 games in a row. Nordavind coming out on top.
And this looks like that Nordavind that we were used to seeing, and it was classic Nordavind as well, just picking a comp that functions well for them. That combo between Kerberos and Sharp, which has been such an integral part of their team fight play. Ericsson on a more carry-oriented champion, and Chris Berg, what can you say on his Kaiser? Just extreme comfort. I mean, the desk did say it would have to be a big pop-off game from Galaxy Racer with this comp if they wanted to win. And there were some moments, especially early game, but it kind of fell apart around these dragon fights where Rumble has always reigned supreme. Now, we are Going to go to a short break. We have another breakdown of that game ready with the analysts. They also have an interview ready to go as well. So we'll see you very soon.